In LA this week, $9 an hour just isn't enough to support a family. That's according to LA's mayor. Hear his proposal for lifting Angelenos out of poverty.
A 2-mile bikeway along the LA River is finally completed in the San Fernando Valley. I'm Yana Kay. The details next.
I'm Anna Margos, an A+ for the LAPD's Forensics Crime Lab, as it meets more than 800 requirements to get accredited. We'll take a walk through the lab coming up.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. It's a decision that some small businesses say will create a hardship for them, but the mayor has announced a proposal he says will improve the quality of life for many working families, raising the minimum wage in Los Angeles. The current minimum wage in California is $9 an hour. And on Labor Day, a day honoring the hardworking men and women of this nation, Mayor Eric Garcetti announced $9 will turn into $13.25 by the year 2017 for those in Los Angeles. The announcement was made with the support of a coalition of business, labor, community, and faith leaders from across the city. The mayor says raising the minimum wage to $13.25 would enable Angelenos to rise above the poverty level.
We've got 1 million people who live in poverty in Los Angeles, 27% of our population, and 567,000 workers who, working full-time, earn $16,000 a year. They can't support their families, they can't afford housing. We're now the least affordable city in the country. And this is something that unfortunately is keeping the economy from moving forward because people don't have money to spend on Main Street, in the restaurants, in the stores. They can't buy those shoes, they can't go out for dinner. So we've seen time and time again the right level of raising the minimum wage to keep up with inflation, to keep up with the cost of living, helps people spend, helps those stores. It's why business leaders like Eli Broad, Rick Caruso are supporting this proposal. It's why community members know we can't have good schools if children can't talk to their parents at night because they're working 2 jobs.
The proposal still has to be discussed by and voted on by the city council. And speaking of improving the quality of life for working Angelenos, the mayor is now predicting the return of thousands of local jobs in the entertainment industry now that the governor has signed a deal boosting film and TV tax incentives statewide. Gil Reyes has more.
I think we really humanized the face of this industry, like that it was people.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti joking around with actor Anthony Anderson on the set of his new sitcom Blackish, debuting this month. The mayor, however, gets serious when mentioning newly approved tax credits for film and TV production in California.
We know this will literally bring about something around the range of 80 to 100,000 jobs in the next 5 years. That's really, really important for our state.
The deal reserves $330 million in film and TV tax credits for Los Angeles and the rest of California over the next 5 years, more than tripling the previous amount. It also allows more projects to get in on this action, including big-budget movies and new network TV dramas. The mayor disputes one recent state study suggesting California loses money under the tax credits. Garcetti says that study fails to factor in the large number of production companies who've skipped town recently for better deals in other states, companies that he's hopeful will return here.
Now, for the local economy, nobody disputes that it is a net gain for the economy. So overall, in terms of what this does for businesses, jobs, absolutely, doing this brings those jobs back, brings the revenue.
The mayor credits the city's late entertainment czar, Tom Sherrick, for helping to broker the deal. Sherrick died in January after a long battle with cancer. After thanking local leaders and industry titans like Steven Spielberg for pushing the deal forward, it was back to the business of comedy.
I got a question. I got 2 tickets yesterday.
Yes. Now you should be able to pay for them. With it's a Blackish.
You got that? You heard the mayor say it. Wednesday night.
Or else we'll give you all parking tickets.
There you go.
At Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The new tax credits take effect in July. The mayor isn't just working to bring filmmaking back to LA, he's also working to make LA the live music capital of the world with the recent Budweiser Made in America festival right outside City Hall, all the way to Grand Park. In the mayor's own words, LA is no longer a place where red tape is allowed to stand in the way of jobs, innovation, and entertainment. The mayor released a statement after the two-day concert saying, "We showed LA can do big things for our economy and people's enjoyment. We want leading companies and event organizers to know we're changing LA." The concert featured headliners John Mayer and Kanye West, along with Weezer and Iggy Azalea. The mayor's office says the mayor aggressively pursued the festival, both for the immediate economic benefit and to demonstrate that the entertainment capital of the world is going to be aggressive about being a capital for the live entertainment industry, too. Prior to the concert, the mayor took a tour of the stages and met with workers setting up for the show.
This is $10 million, probably $12 million being spent here locally. You can see the jobs behind me. You can see the use of Grand Park, our increasingly central park here in Los Angeles, on a great weekend. And this means jobs for people. It's a celebration of our music heritage and a great party right here in the heart of the city. When we look at people traveling outside of LA to go to places, great places like Coachella or Austin or Philadelphia, it's about time that we do this in our hometown, especially because we're the music capital of the world. 2,500
people were employed each festival day, which saw total admissions of some 70,000. The city of Philadelphia, which also hosted the Made in America concert, released an economic analysis of the festival there, showing a $10 million economic impact. The festival was founded by rapper and entrepreneur Jay-Z. And that takes us to this week in tweets. The Budweiser Made in America Festival tweeted several messages during the concert weekend. One of them says, "Thank you, Los Angeles, for making the first Budweiser Made in America LA truly special," along with this photo of the concert crowd with their hands up in the air. Musician John Mayer tweeted, #MIA Festival, you were a great crowd. I'll be taking your energy back in the studio with me. That was a blast. Needed that. And musician and record producer Steve Aoki shared this photo taken on stage at the Made in America Festival. It says, "LA, yes, that's Mayor on stage with me." And you see the mayor making the LA sign with his hands with the large crowd of concert goers behind him. By most accounts, the concert was a success. There were more than 100 arrests and nearly 50 people treated for illnesses or injuries. That's out of a crowd of 70,000. A lot is happening in LA, and not just in the arts, but also in transportation and public space. A public park along the LA River just got bigger in hopes of luring more visitors to the mini oasis in the Elysian Valley. Gil Reyes has more.
Local leaders who've spent years fighting for revitalization of the LA River celebrate their latest victory, a 3-acre expansion of Marsh Park along the river's path. They hope new amenities like tree-lined trails, public restrooms, and enough parking for over 40 cars will entice more nature lovers to visit.
And it was designed with special care from input with the community as well. So it's a wonderful new amenity for this community of Elysian Valley here in the 13th District.
Crews tore down an empty lot and its 2 structures to make room for improvements. They also include bioswales to clean and filter runoff throughout the 42-acre park.
People don't realize LA is now the densest metropolitan area in the country, denser than the New York metropolitan area in the last census. So reimagining and transforming this river is critical to everything we do.
The improvements go hand in hand with the city's $1 billion plan to restore parts of the river, to turn what's mostly concrete back to its natural beauty, preserving the environment while promoting camping and other recreational activities. At Marsh Park in the Elysian Valley, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Crews also plan to install 13 fitness stations and a Spanish-style picnic pavilion for special events. In more LA River news, up the river to Winnetka in the San Fernando Valley, where bikers who enjoy riding along the river just got an extra 2 miles of additional roadway. Yana Kay reports.
Joe Linton and his family are avid bikers, and because they live in Koreatown, finding a place to bike can be tough. So they've decided to try out the new 2-mile bikeway in the San Fernando Valley.
I'm a longtime bicyclist and bike advocate and river advocate in Los Angeles, and I'm excited about this. And I think it's really, it connects the valley to the rest of Los Angeles. It brings people together.
After 2 years of construction, city officials and community members cut the ribbon on the 3rd and final phase of the LA River Bikeway in Winnetka. The new segment runs along the southern portion of the LA River and connects bikers to Mason Avenue.
This is an important amenity for the community and an asset for the entire West Valley and city.
Officials say the bikeway not only provides much-needed open space in the area, but will also encourage active lifestyles.
It's really nice. They did a fantastic job
It looks beautiful.
Some bikeway features include drought-tolerant vegetation, metal railings, solar lighting, and rest areas.
Each section that we add is exciting for the community along the river, but for all of us who use and recreate along this incredible parkway.
The new bikeway will be open 24/7 thanks to LED lighting, and officials say it is one step closer to building a pathway that connects the LA River to all of Los Angeles. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The bikeway was primarily funded through Metro and Proposition 50. A new survey could make walking the streets a little safer for residents in MacArthur Park, especially for seniors. Anna Marcos explains.
Nothing like a neighborhood stroll as these MacArthur Park residents take Councilmember Gil Cedillo for a walk around the lake. It's also something of a reconnaissance tour to scope out the cracks in pedestrian safety in the neighborhood.
It can be very dangerous walking.
This pedestrian safety campaign launched a survey of pedestrian hazards for seniors who go to and from the St. Barnabas Senior Services Center, and it found many problems.
I went around the neighborhood, walked through the neighborhood, and I took pictures of all of the sidewalk damage and the street corner damage, and I documented it where it was and the approximate location.
Some of the hazards included buckled sidewalks, dangerous intersections, and dangerous alleyways.
I fell down once a couple of years ago. Now I just walk on the street because the cracks are so bad.
Many times I fall down, but sometimes I broke my hands. Looky here.
Oh, so that's
one more time broke my tooth. No,
so sometimes you do fall.
Yeah.
Councilmember Cedillo says he knows the challenges of seniors with limited mobility because his own late wife became paralyzed after a surgery.
She never recovered fully, so she always had a partial paralysis. And so all of a sudden our life became about access, became about how we could get from point A to point B in a manner that was safe.
But Cedillo is determined to make these streets safe and accessible for both seniors and others in the neighborhood. He plans to bring in a road crew to repair some of the most dangerous hot spots. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The head of the LAPD's counterterrorism unit is asking for the public's help in identifying young people at risk of turning to extremism. As Gil Reyes reports, the concern is fueled by militant groups in Iraq and Syria who may be trying to recruit local young people.
We haven't seen chaos like this in the world in modern times.
LAPD Deputy Chief Michael Downing speaking with community members near UCLA about the growing risk of American Muslims drawn to violent extremism overseas.
It is fertile ground for recruitment, and that I know that people inside the United States have, as you know, have traveled there to fight. It's something we're constantly looking for, and we could use the community's help in helping us to detect that.
Downing says controversial police shootings in Ferguson, Missouri, and in Los Angeles could be used as recruiting tools to lure disenfranchised youth. That's why it's important for police to continue building relations with local communities. Muhammad Khan of King Fahad Mosque says many people from his faith don't trust officers in uniform, so we'd like to see more elected officials take part in the outreach.
The guy with the badge usually represents an extortionist from back home. I think the mayor is very focused on economics and other areas, but I'd like to see him more involved in this.
Deputy Chief Downing is concerned about the growth of militant groups like the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and the very real threat of militants with American passports returning home from training to carry out violence.
They have the funds, they have a large essential army, they have the equipment, they have the tactics and training.
But Los Angeles has Muslim Americans working with law enforcement. There's also a new outreach program in the works called the Safe Spaces Initiative. It's said to be the first intervention program for young American Muslims at risk of carrying out violent extremism. Near UCLA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Safe Spaces initiative is headed by the Muslim Public Affairs Council. Its goal is to create a safe space in local mosques where people can freely discuss sensitive political topics and where leaders can steer those who may be headed towards extremism back on the right path. The LAPD Forensics Crime Lab is a leader throughout the country in crime scene investigations, and now a rigorous test helps prove this crime lab is tops in its field. Anna Marcos reports.
Inside this lab, you will find a drug device that can analyze any of 200 narcotics, even through glass or plastic.
And you can see it just gives you a very clear result.
There are computer programs that match bullets or shoe prints left at a crime scene with those left at other crimes, and which identify make and manufacturer. There's a camera that captures a crime scene in 3D. It's all in a day's work for the LAPD's Forensics Crime Lab. The work here is so good and so cutting edge that the lab just passed a rigorous test to get accredited with flying colors.
It would be A+.
The crime scene evidence tested here can often be the primary or even the only evidence used in a court case, and the LAPD lab is a leader in forensics across the country.
It's very important that we be accurate and that our results be completely reliable and irrefutable. Every juror wants to believe that when the expert witness takes the stand, they can believe in everything they're telling them in order to make their decision.
Every 5 years, the lab must meet more than 800 criteria in order to get accredited. Everything from employee work habits to how machines are calibrated, like this breathalyzer.
The equipment gets checked, but it's the more than 200 employees who make the difference between accuracy and mistakes. They get tested rigorously.
The saying that a chain is no stronger than the weakest link applies. A laboratory will not be accredited if every analyst in the laboratory is not qualified, competent, and doing the work in accordance with their procedures.
The lab recently helped nail down evidence that kept a man behind bars in what police are calling a serial murder case in the valley. Firearms, bullets, DNA, shoe prints, narcotics. Anything a criminal leaves behind at a crime scene is fair game for lab workers, whose meticulous efforts often help catch the bad guy. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Even though the full accreditation happens only every 5 years, the lab must also undergo surveillance visits once a year. The giant rubber ducky at the Port of LA has been the talk of the town. As Rasha Goel tells us, the attraction that's been a big draw for visitors has also been good for business.
It's definitely been a hot spot for pictures. If you were down at the Port of LA in the past month, you couldn't help but catch a glimpse of the big yellow rubber duck. It was a temporary art installation created by Dutch artist Florentine Hofman and was part of the Port of LA's 5-day Tall Ships Festival. Due to an overwhelming response, the duck stay was extended.
Over the 5 days of the Tall Ship Festival, the duck and the tall ships, mostly the duck, brought a total of 277,000 people down to the LA waterfront.
I had to come down here because I'm a fan of ducks. I have ducks in my bathroom, I have ducks all over.
Over the last few weeks, people saw not only one, but 2 ducks, as a baby duck joined in on the fun.
So what's the big fascination? Well, for spectators, it's the world's largest rubber duck, and it's 62 feet tall. And for local businesses, it's helped increase sales here at the Port of Los Angeles.
The tall ships were fine, and but the duck was a big draw.
It's brought more people in my shop.
Officials say they are still reviewing the economic analysis, but are estimating the benefit to be in the millions. Attractions such as this one are a small part of the big plan to help make the LA waterfront a destination for tourists.
Fishing was a big industry down here. Canneries, shipbuilding, all that's gone away. So we realize that on the community side, if we can build the LA waterfront and make it a tourist destination, people will come and spend their dollars.
The big rubber duck may have already said its farewell, but it's left a lasting impact at the Port of Los Angeles.
That old Sesame Street song, you know, rubber ducky, you're the one, you know, so that's been going in my head for a long time now.
Bring it back every year. Leave it here. I don't care.
In San Pedro, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
While the duck days of summer may be over, the 10-foot baby duck has found a new home and will be staying at the port. A city leader wants LA to create a homeless czar position, more trees in one harbor community, and a new mural at a local park. These stories and more in CityBeat. Councilman Jose Huizar, whose district includes Skid Row, is asking the city to create a homeless czar position. Currently, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, a joint city-county agency, is largely responsible for homeless services and coordination for the city. But given the size of Los Angeles and the scale of the problem, Huizar's motion calls for the city to establish a full-time position to manage homelessness initiatives across the city. Huizar also currently announced a joint city-county effort that not only cleans the streets of Skid Row every other month, but also provides social services to the homeless. Councilmember Jose Huizar recently honored Kate del Castillo, a successful Mexican artist, human rights advocate, and LA resident. In addition to her entertainment work, del Castillo was named ambassador of the Mexican Commission on Human Rights to Combat Human Trafficking in 2009 and launched the Blue Heart campaign to raise awareness and fight against human trafficking in Latin America. Del Castillo has 5 films set for release this year, including The 33, co-starring Antonio Banderas. Councilman Joe Buscaino joined community members to celebrate the planting of 136 trees in San Pedro along Pacific Avenue and 9th, 13th, and 22nd Streets. This latest project continues the tree planting initiative in Buscaino's district that started in Wilmington and Harbor City, where 110 trees were planted. The next stop will be Watts, where more trees will be planted to improve the 15th Council District's tree canopy. The multi-agency effort included the LADWP and the city's Bureau of Sanitation. A new mural at Fox and Laurel Park in San Fernando was recently unveiled. The infusion of art at the green space in Councilman Felipe Fuentes' district came at the urging of the community. The 100-foot mural was designed in collaboration with local residents and is representative of Pacoima, its past, present, and future. Artist Christy Sandoval was selected to render the final design due to her extensive experience as a muralist and her involvement in the San Fernando Valley. The mural was funded by a community development block grant received by the Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust. Art, it's a tie that binds. 2 groups of disabled artists separated by an ocean share their struggles and triumphs through their passion for art. The exhibit is now on display at the Chinese American Museum. A traditional Chinese watercolor of blossoms, a still life of sunflowers, dark tears streaming down the face of a man. These are the works by more than 40 artists in their own right, but who also share the understanding of what it's like to live with a disability.
The Chinese American Museum is extremely happy to be able to present this breakthrough exhibit for everyone. It's definitely a wonderful event to happen, not only to the Chinese American Museum, but to the city of Los Angeles.
Transpacific Ties, Bridging Hong Kong and Los Angeles Through Art, is the name of the new exhibit on display at the Chinese American Museum at the El Pueblo Historical Monument. The exhibit, the museum's first international collaboration, brings together the works of artists from Hong Kong and Los Angeles. The museum's international partner for this exhibit is the oldest and largest charitable organization in Hong Kong.
I am honored to be able to bring artists with disabilities from the Tunghua group of hospitals here to Los Angeles to be able to share their artistic talents with everyone.
The exhibit not only exemplifies the artists' shared passion for art, its mission is to encourage an ongoing dialogue about the shared histories and challenges that unite the community of artists, no matter their origin. 30 pieces of artwork featured are from Hong Kong and 20 from Southern California.
Visitors to Los Angeles will be able to see the great work that we're doing here and in our reaching out in friendship to our brothers and sisters across the Pacific.
The Southern California-based Chinese Parents Association for the Disabled was the other partner in the exhibit. The show runs through December 14th. In this week's list of things to do, a lobster fest, a tour of Union Station, and eat, drink, art. The Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery's famed fundraiser, sponsored by Los Angeles Magazine, will take place on Saturday, September 13th from 7 to 11 p.m., with the VIP reception from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Barnsdall Art Park at 4800 Hollywood Boulevard. The event, called Eat, Drink, Art, a kaleidoscope of the senses, will be catered by celebrity chef Chris Morningstar. There will be live musical performances, and KCRW's DJ Dan Wilcox will also be spinning tunes. In addition to live painting, performance artists, giant puppets, and more, the evening will also feature a silent auction of the works of more than 45 emerging and renowned artists. For more information and to buy tickets, go to barnstall.org/eatdrinkart. The annual Port of Los Angeles Lobster Festival is upon us. This year's 3-day event takes place Friday to Sunday, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. The Lobster Festival features fresh discount Maine lobster meals flown in fresh daily and cooked on the spot. Lobster lovers will enjoy a scenic outdoor park along LA's historic waterfront and shops at Portugal in San Pedro. There's not only lobsters on the menu, but more than a dozen bands are also on the festival's entertainment menu, as well as dancing, street performers, tall ships, and more. Portugal Village is located at the intersection of 6th Street and Harbor Drive in San Pedro. Hours vary each day. Go to lobsterfest.com for details. Metro is offering a special tour of Union Station on the second Sunday of each month as part of its celebration of Union Station's 75th anniversary. The next tour takes place on September 14th from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Led by trained Metro art docents, the tours will cover historic Union Station art, architecture, and spaces not generally open to the public. Tours are free. Reservations are not required. Union Station is located at 800 North Alameda Street. Meet at the information booth inside the Alameda Street entrance. Go to metro.net for details. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. The Salvadoran community in Los Angeles recently celebrated their roots and heritage with a parade through the streets of Hollywood. Rasha Goel has more.
Patriotic flags, people in authentic dresses, and Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell as the Grand Marshal were all part of the 14th annual Salvadoran Parade held near the intersection of Van Ness and Santa Monica Boulevards in East Hollywood.
It's a tradition to have the parade in this thoroughfare, and this is a corridor that has lots of Salvadorian residents and businesses, and it's a gathering spot for the Salvadorian community.
Happy Salvador's Independence Day! The parade is also a celebration of the Central American country's Independence Day, which falls in September.
So far, we have been being like a country when we don't have a war, and we're trying to grow as you know, as a family, and little by little we have been doing that.
The Salvadoran community is the second largest Hispanic group in Los Angeles. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacitybeat.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.